All right, guys, Mike and Brandon here. This is the edition 2, the sequel of our video about binge eating. And what we're covering now is medication. So medication, prescribed for depression and so on and so forth. So now, big disclaimer, I'm not an MD and neither is he. So what we're telling you and what I've told you in previous videos is simply experience, okay? It's nothing else. I'm not saying you should take this medication. I'm not saying you should not take this medication. All I'm saying is this is what the medication caused to his psyche and so on and so forth. Quick intro. So we're having January, New York City. It's dark. Cold. He falls into sort of a slump and goes to see somebody and is being prescribed several medications. And so why don't you give us a brief rundown what they did for you and what they didn't and what they were, first of all, and so on and so forth.
At the time, I was suffering from so when I went to see the psychiatrist, I couldn't get out. I told her, right, because they listen to your symptoms. So I said I couldn't get out of bed, and I couldn't focus. So she was like, okay, so you're depressed and you have ADHD. So she just prescribed. So getting a prescription for stimulants and antidepressants so easy. So I was prescribed Adderall, I was prescribed Ritalin, I was prescribed Vyvanse, I was prescribed Xanax for anxiety, and I was prescribed Lexapro for depression.
So again, I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I've had my fair share of meds prescribed, if you can tell that I need them. But that seems like a shotgun approach to me. So, we're giving you a stimulus, antidepressant, and so on and so forth, and we just see what sticks. And unfortunately, and that's again my experience, this is what's being done a lot. So if you go somewhere, they will give you, a cocktail of ABC, hoping that something will do something. But the issue is you actually don't know which drug did what, right? Did this one help me or that one, or which one was it, right? So the saga continues.
So I'll just give like these drugs actually did for me. So, when I first started taking Adderall, there was a honeymoon phase. So I thought that I was invincible. I thought that my even Mike here, when I went to work out with him, my first time taking Adderall, he was like, you're a lot better, and, my mood was amazing. And like, I lost my appetite, and, since I was months, I leaned down significantly because Adderall does burn fat, right?
Yeah. So that is true. So when I didn't know the whole backstory for many reasons, but when he first went on, I was like, well, this might actually work, And in the bodybuilding world, competitors take Adderall to get leaner. Now, disclaimer, bodybuilders will pretty much take anything or do anything to get leaner and bigger, right? So take home note, do not copy what bodybuilders do for the most part, okay? So you got leaner, cool, right? Why didn't you stay on it? Like, why? It sounds great. I would do more.
Well, I think the thing about Adderall is that it came a time where I was like, all right, this is not working anymore because your body builds tolerance to it, right? So you don't feel the euphoria anymore. So you're depressed again. So the solution is, are you going to take more Adderall? Are you going to take another stimulant? Or what are you going to do about that? So I realized that it was a slippery slope into to keep increasing my dose. And keep in mind, I do know people. I'm not going to name names, but I do know extremely high doses of Adderall to stay lean, to for the euphoria, just because I'm a college kid, and I didn't want to go down that path.
Well, in New York City, it's not particularly hard to get more of any drug, right? So then I was sitting down with Brandon and I said, look, we have to somehow get you off this stuff and get to the root of the problem as just like medicating the symptoms, right? So you're depressed, you can't get out of bed, fine, you get this stimulant, but the question remains, what do we do about the underlying depression and how do we treat that, which is then causing the binge eating and that sort of thing. And that's when he stepped up and did the work on his own in order to pull himself together. Maybe you can summarize that quickly for the fans.
Well, I think the first step was stop taking Adderall, because with the Adderall I had these horrible crashes at the end of the day. So like, I was more mindful about taking my medication, and then I also try to focus on the things that mattered. So, I started, training regularly again. I started going out with my friends again, even though it sucked at the beginning. I didn't want to be there, and then I tried to, slowly ease my way back into normal life. Have a couple drinks on a Saturday night. It's not going to do anything, and work. Try to take your mind off of depression, which is oftentimes like the easiest thing, but the most important thing to do. It's to just think about something else, and then I know it sounds corny. I know it sounds mumbo jumbo therapy. If you think about something else and focus on that something else, you might just stop feeling sorry for yourself.
I think that sums it up well. So what you gotta understand is that, unfortunately, yes, but most people really don't. Okay, so it's a combination out of doing some sort of exercise, eating properly, and sleeping, managing your life. And then you may or may not need medication. But if somebody puts you on 3 different drugs and you start abusing them, you can pretty much assured you won't get better. I mean, even I can tell you that, okay? So from my experience, and again, this is my experience, when you're dealing with psychotherapists and pharmacologists, you have to be your own advocate. Like, sadly, they will not always tell you about the downsides, the potential downsides of things. Like, you have to be finding out what it is and saying, no, enough, okay? So I hope this was helpful. Brandon has one more thing to say, and then you guys off to the weekend.
My last thing to say is, like, guys, like, if this like fitness stuff is really getting to your head, body image dysmorphia, whatever, go get help. Therapist, whatever. Be mindful, get help, because even my therapist told me that a lot of her clients are in the modeling industry, are bodybuilders, are physique. So you're not alone. Like, guys don't like to talk about this because it's not like whatever, but like you get some help if you need it. You don't have to go through it yourself.
Yeah, that's very true. I have 3 friends who are not with us anymore because they killed themselves for exactly that reason, body dysmorphia. So if you feel that way, it's okay to get help. Mike out.